Hi there, crafty friends. I am Ashley. I'm the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Winnipeg, Manitoba. If you live within Canada and do not yet have a demonstrator, I would be thrilled to fill that role for you. I offer in-person classes each and every week in my home, and I am starting to offer online classes. So if there is something that I can help you with, or if there are supplies that you need, please send me an email at stampedaf@gmail.com, or make a comment on my website, Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media feeds really. So without further ado, I would like to show you the project that we are going to make this week. It was one of the most popular cards at my recent Stamp-A-Stack. This is Deacon. He was just at the groomers today. Has a very cute elf jacket on. Anyways, it was one of the most popular cards at my Stamp-A-Stack, so I wanted to show you how to do it, and we're gonna put a little fun twist on it. So let's get our craft on. So we are going to be using the Signs of Santa bundle. It's super cute. And we are going to be coloring, so we are going to stamp in Memento. I have a new Memento and an old one, and it is amazing the difference between the two. So we are going to use the new one. We are going to, of course, stamp Santa. And this is Whisper White Thick. That is my favorite cardstock to color on. Just get them nice and inked up. And sorry, I've got it zoomed in, so you're not going to see everything I do, but the important stuff. So there we go, perfect impression first time. I have a piece of Coastal Cabana here that I have run through the Big Shot with the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. And we'll just mount that on a piece of, a card base, which is Whisper White Thick, and it is 8.5 by 5.5. So we'll just get some Tombow out. And because Santa will be up on dimensionals, we're going to glue this right to our card base. So just put that on there. And what I have recently started doing is grab your F block and just lay it on top of there. Until I learned this trick recently, I would just put it under a stack of catalogs for a couple hours to overnight, but this works as well. So we'll just set that aside a little bit. Actually, while we're working on that, I've gone ahead and cut this. This is just a piece of Whisper White regular cardstock, and I have used the Hometown Greetings edgelets, and there's a little bit of wax paper on here. I do find using wax paper with those thinlits is the best way to get every piece out and be able to get it out of the dies without ripping any pieces. So I just see a little bit of residue here and there. With my Stamp-A-Stack, I had done the same thing. I had previously cut all of my pieces like this. Otherwise, it would have taken us forever. So again, just gonna glue this right down. Put some glue strategically. And then just put that at the bottom. And now we can set that aside. So what are we gonna do next? We are going to cut these out. Just bring my Big Shot in. I'm actually gonna grab my magnetic platform. one solo glue dot left on this little piece of paper, but it's now stuck to my cardstock, so sayonara glue dot. Okay, so here is our Thinlit for this. And even though I'm using the magnetic platform, I still like to use washi tape so that I have some control over where it's going to go. These are by far my most used Thinlits out of this bundle. So place those down. That's the other reason I use washi tape, is because I've got this facing down so that there's less warping. Sorry about the shaking. So they stayed exactly where they were supposed to. And while that background is sitting, flattening out over there, we will do some coloring. I always like to use my washi tape a few times. Okay, so there are a few colors that we're going to need. We'll use Poppy Parade for Santa's suit. We need Petal Pink Light and Dark for his face, his skin. And we will use Soft Suede Light and Dark for the sign. And then we will use some light mint macaron for the snow. So I've just got a scrap piece of paper here so that I don't get ink on my table. So we will start with the sign, and I'm going to do this in Poppy Parade stripes. So if you have not yet worked with Stampin' Blends, the one key is you need to work quick. I realized I was working with the dark first. I do prefer to work with the light. And then just add some shadow to the side. Blend it in. You can see I went out of the line there. Leave that off because I need that for Santa's suit. So I can use my color lifter for that, which is basically an eraser. I was using the bullet tip when I did that, but I will use the brush tip now, since this is a larger area and there's less detail. And there's no right or wrong to this. Always be careful that you're getting the right lids on the right markers. Now with that color lifter, it might take a couple applications to get that color really gone. I think we're gonna add some Poppy Parade up here as well. for Santa's hat. It looks intimidating, but there's really not a lot of coloring that goes into this guy. Oops. The pressure of coloring on the screen. Now the other thing you can do is if you're finding that you've gone over it a couple of times and it's still not going, just use a white jelly roll pen and color over it, letting it dry between applications, because if you keep going over the same spot, it will actually lift the ink. Sometimes I find it's easier to just color over it with the white to begin with, instead of messing with the color lifter. Okay, so his skin, we will use the bullet tip of the Petal Pink. You can use the ivory. Completely up to you. And I just do a little bit on his ears and a little bit on his face. And that's it for that. We will do a little bit of highlighting around the snow. A little bit around the white here. And if you want to soften that up, just take your color lifter and blend it out. I like to use a gold jelly roll pen just to color in his belt buckle. The other thing I like to do, I'm not going to do it on this card, is to use a glaze pen and color in his belt and his boots, but that's a little too much for this video. So I'll take my Wink of Stella and just do the brim of his hat. Maybe do the snow on the sign. That looks good. And we will add just a little bit back here as a shadow. And just fade that out. And that is him. Just gonna put these all away. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, you won't know that I like to clean up as I go. I find it very overwhelming to work in a mess. Okay, now for the fun part. That was pretty quick and I didn't even speed that part up. So back to our background. Just gonna touch this up a tiny bit more. If it was really bothering you, you could just fussy cut it out so that you didn't have any white around there. So probably have that over there and Santa over here. Now for the fun part, we are going to use an action wobbler, and I actually haven't used one of these in the past, but we will put some Tombow on this part, and then we will use a mini dimensional at the top just so that it lies flat. We didn't pop this part up on dimensionals, but it is a little bit higher given that it's like 3 layers of cardstock. Okay, so let's figure this out together, shall we? I'm assuming there is some adhesive on here. There we go. So we will put that part on Santa. And these are just action wobblers that I got from Simon Says Stamp online. They are the mini ones because Santa is fairly small, and if you wanted to do the elves, you definitely need the minis. Oh boy. Come off. There we go. Of course, my nail keeps pushing it back down. There, 1 off. Two off. And then let's just pop them down. I want to kind of go in between these 2 houses. So there we go. How cute is that? Now the finishing touch, and probably one I should have done before I attached him, was to use some shimmer paint. So this is Frost White mixed with 70% rubbing alcohol. As I understand, the 90% alcohol does not work. And I have found that when I use the 90% mixed with the shimmer paint, the adhesive eraser takes it right off. So I'm guessing that's something. It also doesn't mix as well as it does with the 70%. So consider that. I'm just gonna give this a spritz just on the paper to make sure that it's not clogged and it's spritzing and not going overboard. I want this to be pretty sparkly. So that is it, my friends. It is stunning. I wish that you could see all of the shimmer. Well, maybe you can. So cute. And then just give them a little wobble. And he flattens right down. So if you put him in the mail or in an envelope, which you probably would, he'll just pop right up when you take him out. So that is it for that project. Actually, no, I lied. I'm sorry. I knew we were missing something. We need some snow. So here is some of the glimmer paper. I'll take this out. I'm not going to move the Big Shot back in because you know how to cut out snowflakes. But I'm just going to put a couple of those on there. The big one is really big. Just pop them out with your paper piercing tool. See, that one is huge. That one can go right there. One there. You don't have to use that big one, but I only want to run it through one time. When I did it for my Stamp-A-Stack, there were like 9 stars that each person had to cut, so it took a few minutes. So, speaking of Stamp-A-Stack, this was the card that we did for that, and I hadn't thought at that point to do a candy cane striped one. It was actually one of the attendees that suggested that, but there is the original, and here is today's. I haven't even adhered those in there, not even moving. So a little bit of a difference, but same general idea. We have the same background. It's just a little more hidden this time around, but very cute. I might, instead of adhering this big guy, I might cut out 2 more of those because you can see it's a much better scale like that. So I will take a picture of that when I am all done, but I want to show you the project that I am doing at my class this coming weekend. And like I said, if you're watching this on Friday, November 9th, my class is tomorrow. If not, it has already happened. But this is one of the projects that we are doing. It was going to be a card, but it was so much work and so much coloring, and it's so pretty that it just had to go in a frame. So this is what they will be making, as well as some tags using the Tags and Tidings Tags and Tidings bundle, which is this here. So they will stamp and have 16 tags, at least 16 tags, and then we will be making this framed piece. So I would like to know if you would like a video on this so that I can show you exactly how I did it, because it was a lot of work. Now granted, I made about 20 of them to make sure I had enough for my class this weekend, but it was a lot of work, and it was inspired by Dawn Griffith of Dawn's Stamping Thoughts. She did a Halloween one. She did do a Christmas one, but I changed it up quite a bit. So if you would like to see a video of this, then please comment below and I would be happy to do that. I thank you for joining me, friends, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below. Please consider doing that and catch a new video each and every week. Bye, friends.